All right, Sid Seixeiro's here. You got here fast.
I flew, bud.
Yeah.
Dude, I ate Jarvis up to get here.
We got the, hey, Sid's going to be here around 10:25. I was like, whoa. And then it was like a wrestler entrance music. It was like, my God, that's Sid Seixeiro's music. He's on the catwalk. He's on the catwalk.
Where the hell did he come from?
10:15. He's already here. Who has given you more pain and anguish, the Bills or the Leafs?
The Bills.
Okay. You said that fast. Snap that
because I was thinking, like, it's crossed my mind within the last 7 days.
Yeah.
Well, within the last 4.
Because this is the time of year where everybody starts putting their stake in the ground for, like, who has it the worst, right? Cowboys fans, even, they were having their thing of, I'm a Leafs and a Cowboys fan. And I went, ooh, that is a toughie. Because Cowboys fans, the difference with them is that they don't even get any of the sympathy and nobody likes them, right? At least with Bills fans, people go, we're so sorry this happened to you. With Cowboys fans, it's just like, you idiots like your team? Right? It's the same with Leafs. That's why I can relate to them. So I don't know if the coddling is better because to me, I've said this with like my closest friends. You know it's actually the worst when someone doesn't make fun of you as a sports fan. When someone goes, like my friend who's a Jets fan, we used to rip him all the time. Aaron Rodgers went down this year, and I was texting him being like, hey, Shawnee, like, keep your head up, buddy.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the worst, is when you become pitiful.
Yes.
When you become...
Empathy is where you don't want to be.
In sports, hell no. You want to be hated. You want people to be like,
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Whether you think you're good and you're not, or you are good.
Actually,
you want that kind of hate constantly.
Maybe that's the spin of all these Leafs failures, is that everyone got really excited. But I remember before that, right, during the commissaric times, during the Brian Burke era, I remember going to Montreal games, and it was like kind of muted, the criticisms that you get. People would say, we want you to be good. Can
you make this interesting again?
The league is better when you're good. That's actually the number one insult you can get as a fan base.
Yes.
But for you, it's the Bills.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
Because like Leaf fans don't know what success is in any way. What's the bar?
Well, I just said we treated the first round win this past year like it was the Raptors going.
But
to the
even
NBA
then,
Finals.
every Leaf fan knew they got outplayed in every game. We all watched that series with respect.
Yeah,
we all, when the Samsonoff was Patrick Waugh.
Yeah,
we saw that series.
That was a good time.
Good time, right?
Yeah,
the Waugh Samsonoff year.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Or week.
Yeah,
but like now it's like the debate isn't about who's talking cup in this city. Is that a priority for anyone? I don't hear that clubhouse talk about it. Clubhouse. Dressing room talk about it.
I do this all the time. I think I get it wrong every single time I do. I'm like, dressing room for basketball.
Because I like clubhouse better.
Yeah,
I lean towards clubhouse, but it is a dressing room.
Dressing room, clubhouse, locker room. It's
wherever. The room of the changing.
Yeah.
Who in that room is like constantly feeding you? Well, we got to focus on winning the cup. Like, you don't even hear from Shanahan anymore unless someone's trying to Julius Caesar him and then they get fired. Like, that's so far removed from what the actual day-to-day discussion is with the Leafs that, like, success would be if if the 8 fans in the fan base who actually think Marner's going to take a pay cut, he takes a pay cut. Did we sign Nylander? Great.
No, that you're right. You're right.
Like, those are wins.
Yeah.
Only twice in my life have they been close to a final, and the bar is so skewed that you don't know what real success is. So I'm not like, what's real heartbreak?
Yeah, with the Bills,
you can't define
you had
real
stakes. You had more stakes.
I was in front of my television for 4 straight Super Bowl losses.
Yeah.
If the Leafs lost 4 straight Stanley Cup finals, which would be kind of Leafs too, would be amazing, but kind of Leafs at the same time.
I would take that, by the way. That's how bad it is.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No.
Yes.
I'd rather be a Leaf fan than a Bills fan.
No, I think
it's not even close.
Here's the thing. If you were losing, God, they're so horrible. Both of them, both timelines are so dark.
But there wasn't always darkness with the Bills.
Yeah.
Like the Raiders would come up for an AFC title game, and Jim Kelly and those guys would have them done by the end of the first quarter. It was done. It was finished. And then you'd move on, and there'd be more hope, and the team would get better, you would think. And 4 straight times, the Bills did the thing, which is pretty difficult to do. But you get to that point. There is no heartbreak like that. It doesn't exist.
Well, I know. I only know it once from the Seahawks on the 1-yard line.
So picture 3 straight more times of that, and you know what I'm saying. I don't think Leaf fans know what that's about. With respect They have no idea what that level to a community like Buffalo on top of it.
Well, that's
Toronto's got big time feel. Buffalo is. You think Canadian sports fans are insecure?
Hey, Toronto fans aren't going and shoveling snow for their teams
for $20 an hour.
No.
God bless each and every one of them.
Oh yeah, but
that's amazing.
What do you think they'd have to pay for that? Let's just
for
say,
you and I.
No, it's just for full times. But I'm just saying for Toronto, because here even just the what is 20?
Can we start at 11 a.m. the shoveling? Can we go there at 11 a.m.?
Yeah, exactly. The Gen Z
11 to 9 p.m. That's all this has been going.
I don't even know what money is. I don't even know what money is anymore. Like I don't know what.
What do you mean you don't know what currency is?
I don't know how much anything is worth. Like I don't know what the value of my money is.
You do because what is that's an incorrect statement.
No, it's true.
What is your time worth?
But
you.
But that's what I mean but I don't know anymore because I don't know how much money is worth anymore, right? So,
but it's irrelevant. I've had this conversation without getting into the details.
Yeah.
Working at Rogers Sports and Media, I've had this conversation with many people about what they think my time is worth.
I just mean with inflation.
Oh, with inflation.
Where it's like I go.
That's a valid point.
That's what I'm saying. Is
I thought you were talking about like the corporate world.
No, I'll go out for a night in the pub now with some buddies, and it's like we went there to have it be cheap, and then the bill comes and it's like that's $180, and I'm like, I had 3 Bud Lights.
It's like is this rookie initiation?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is it's like go to the grocery store and try to spend less than $50. Like do any of
right now.
No, it's impossible. And so that's what I'm saying is I have no idea how. Like if someone was like, "Hey, I'll give you $20 an hour to shovel," my youth brain goes, "What a deal!" You know.
But for franchises, probably worth. What are the bills worth on the open market?
Yeah, for sure.
With that new stadium, what $10 billion by the time?
But how many people shoveled that snow?
A lot.
Yeah.
The time lapse was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The lineup was going outside of Highmark.
Also, do you think that the ownership had any right to be like, hey, get back to work when they saw the videos of the Bills Mafia guys like jumping in the snow with no tarps on, having fun? Like, but wouldn't it have been funny if there was like a foreman and he was like, we're giving you $20 an hour.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, that'd be
guys, section 384, you missed the spot.
Yeah, like,
can you go finish that up, please?
Well, that would be the weird thing too, is you could see all the other sections with the progress they're making.
I know.
And so you would know who the screw around section is. Yeah, you can see.
The other ones went unionized.
Yeah, exactly.
And
all of a sudden, there's someone coming around going, "Hey, listen, I know it's only $20 an hour, but we got to give you $20."
The other thing, sorry, I think being a Bills fan is 1,000 times worse than being a Leaf fan. There is no debate. There's no debate. You've been pushed off the mountaintop after nearly climbing all of it 4 straight times. There is no equivalent. Side note with the Bills. When are we going to talk about people setting themselves on fire?
Like
in Bills Mafia. Like why are we like acting like that's like normal in the Bills Mafia tailgates?
It's so awesome.
How long am I missing this? How long has this been going on? The setting on fires.
That's been going on a little while, but it's definitely been gaining traction doing it. And
all it takes is one, dude.
Yeah.
And this whole thing becomes a 60 minutes segment.
Yeah.
Like we're see, but that's
the
part of Bills Mafia that's being normalized.
Hey, put your friend on your shoulders. Like our whole upbringing was with WWE going, don't do any of this stuff.
Don't try this at home
because you will die.
Don't try this at home.
And now Bills
everything
Mafia,
they told us not to try, they're doing in Bills Mafia before the game.
I think that the issue to me is not the fire. It's more what's the next thing, because there's always got to be a...
You think they're going to escalate from setting themselves on fire?
Like,
what's the next step from that?
Remember Al Snow?
Yeah, but I don't remember like ECW hardcore.
No, he was like, there was a guy, he was like a hardcore guy. I'm not a huge wrestling dude, so I might get this wrong. But I remember he was like the hardcore guy, and he'd have like a bat with spikes. And I feel like...
Oh, but that was like the sanitized WWE version.
Okay, so then, yeah,
I'm
I don't
talking
know.
ECW gym in Philadelphia
But I'm
version.
saying the next thing is like, we're putting barbed wire on the table.
I would 100% believe that.
Like that's the next move. Is that you got to step it up a notch, because how are you going to get you can't go viral with the same thing over and over and over again. So eventually it's got to be like, there's a ladder match happening. There's a guy that's getting thrown off of a ladder and he's going through a table and he's set on fire and there's barbed wire wrapped around the table. That's the logical conclusion.
But I still remember the day when we first started seeing the through the tables thing at Bills Mafia tailgates, and we were like, this is
wild.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're not batting an eye at the guy setting himself on fire.
No.
It's insane what's happening there. It is an unbelievable fan base.
Yeah.
I think that's super dangerous, and we need to make way more of it than we're making. That's wild to me.
I don't think I'm allowed to say this because I'm on this station, but I endorse it personally. Not I don't speak for the company, but I personally, JD Bunkis, think that
The
Bills
opinions of
Mafia,
JD
all the stuff
Bunkis
that
do
they
not
do
represent
is
Rogers
so
Sports
sweet.
Media.
Like as a Seahawks fan, Seahawks don't have a tailgate. They have just corporate things around. You go from, there's a Nirvana cover band and they're playing outside the stadium and you pay $8 for a beer and then there's a couple bars. It's beautiful, but it has no feel to it. Like
No.
it has no, wow, you're in the parking lot. That Bills Mafia fan base of knowing that you're basically getting 2 tickets to ride. You're getting the ticket to the tailgate and you're getting the ticket to the game. And it's almost like, now the game is good. Now you actually have a good.
But the
quarterback.
tailgate turns into Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Like,
Cirque du
it
Soleil
gets
is expensive.
wild. Like, but the one video I saw, I couldn't believe because some guy's pouring kerosene all over the table.
So cool.
And a dude runs in. I'm like, oh, he's going to stop him.
No.
He pulls out another bottle of kerosene.
Yeah.
So now you got 2 going, and I'm like, well, this escalated.
Yeah.
Quickly.
I guess to kind of tie this convo, the case for the Leafs would be you're right. If you frame it as heartbreak, you can't have it that way because the Leafs haven't had enough heartbreaking moments.
True heartbreak.
But if you're framing it as anguish, I still think it's the Leafs because it's so frustrating. And at least with Bills fans, there's like some uniformity amongst the fan base, right? And I miss this with the Leafs. Like, say what you will about the JFJ era. Everybody hated JFJ. And it was nice that Leaf fans were just like together on this. The thing that I hate the most about this era, where it just pisses me off so much, is you're right. It's like, what are the wins, right? They've got these incredible individuals that do these things that you never thought the Leafs would have. Like Marner and Matthews are going to be both top 5 in Leafs all-time scoring like in a year. That's where they're at. They're amazing. Matthews might score 70 goals again this year. Like Nylander had this unbelievable start to the season.
And they're going to scrape and claw to get into the postseason.
That's what I mean. It's like, but so you have a section of the fan base that's like more fans of the players than ever before than the team success. You had fans that were more fans of the front office that was here before than they were of the actual fan base. You know, you have fans that measure the first round win as this unbelievable achievement. You're right. Like the idea of the unified goal of trying to get to the Stanley Cup, it's fractured. It's like, you know, we're warring tribes of this own fan base. It's gotten so big that it's constant infighting. You have this nonstop framework of who are the positive people and who are the negative people. And I try to stay out of that. Like I try not to let that ever.
It's impossible to stay out of it.
But that's it.
It's
like
an impossibility.
You say something that you really feel deep down and you try to be authentic with it. And automatically there's like 5 people who come at you right away being like, this guy's always negative about the team. And you're like, well, they haven't won since 1967. They've got 1 playoff round in this. And I'm just trying to like, what is the bar of success? What is the measurement of success? And then you'll have people come back and be like, well, they won all these regular season games. And so to me, it's like, I can't speak for being a Bills fan. I would say 100% there's more heartbreak, but it seems more fun to be a Bills fan on the day-to-day than it does with the Leafs, where it just, by the end of the season, you feel like it's a grind. Right. I know I do this professionally, but man, there's nights where I go and I'm just like, whew, all right, here we go. They beat the Sharks 8-1.
What's my Simone Benoit take tonight?
Yeah.
Is that basically it?
No,
but you listen, though. you guys do a tremendous job on Leafs Talk. You do a great job on the show. I'm a big fan of you. It's at times it isn't easy, but I do find 4 times out of 5 they keep it interesting. Whether it's the goaltending situation
from a media standpoint,
from you doing your job standpoint,
I have a no complaints about
there's
that.
worse markets than
None.
this. This place keeps it fresh. Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about. The Leafs.
Yeah.
I've been in front of a microphone for a long time talking about the Leafs. Mm-hmm. So have you. And I'm not the guy on air. There's plenty in this market. Mm-hmm. I'm not the guy. I don't care if I'm wrong. I've been wrong plenty in my life. I've been right plenty in my life, doing sports radio or being on breakfast television or saying something on Twitter, and some guy in Edmonton won't let it go because they have a complete complex. Like, I've seen that plenty. Mm-hmm. There have been a few of us out here after the Marner contract who've been saying consistently, this is not going to work. Mm-hmm. I want my damn flowers when Shanahan finally either admits it or gets fired.
You think that's going to happen?
Because Keith Pelly's not coming in to have tea time. Mm. I've worked with Keith. He's a tremendous leader. There's a reason he's going in there around April. I know he's got some stuff to take care of back in Europe. April's going to be a very interesting time for him to go in.
Mhm.
The freshest of eyes. I want my damn flowers when this doesn't work. The math on this has never worked. And the vilification of folks, whether writers, whether people on air, analysts, has been disgusting and has made no sense.
But this is what I mean about the warring factions and the warring tribes.
This one is, though, like analytics people telling me my math doesn't work out is always funny to me.
Well, the best one was when Nylander signed the contract, all the people being like, you got to look at the cap percentages. And they were like, he got less cap percentage than Pasternak. It was like 0.1.
Yes, the
It was
cap
like
percentages.
0.1% of the cap difference between
You
him and
just
a player.
got dunked on with that
Yeah, they're
0.1.
like, you idiot. And you're like, but that's, to me, part of what the issue is here, is that it's like, everyone is in a spot where they're almost like, I know ultimately what everyone would like to see is them win some way.
100%. It's good business for all of us.
Everyone would like to see it, whether you're a fan or not, and you're in the building. It's like you're in the city of Toronto. Even if you didn't really care about the Leafs, I don't know how you could be rooting against them if you live here and say, I don't want to ever see them win, unless you're like a Habs fan who lives in the city, right? That makes sense to me. But that's what I can't stand, is that people want an outcome. Like, they're rooting so hard for an outcome.
The game
at times.
is now us versus them,
Yeah,
whichever
it's like,
way that
that's
is.
what I mean. It's like, okay, well, it's the you can't win this way versus the you can win this way versus it was this guy's fault for doing this and it was that guy's fault for doing this. And instead, it just used to be like, at least the fans were together on hating everybody. You know, like the fans hated a lot of the players when they were bad. They loved the players when they were just okay, right? Like, think about some of the guys who were deified in the city, right? It just comes from the team success where everybody on the team is remembered so fondly. You've got guys like, I don't even want to say names because I don't want to piss people off and go, actually, he was better than, because I agree. Like, that's the way my mind works with this stuff. I just want it to be a fan base that gets to, like, why can't we just be a little bit normal in terms of fans where everyone just roots for, there's some infighting over certain things, over some approaches, over certain players, but not where every night almost feels like you're strapping up for a death match of, hey, did Dubas screw this team? Is Shanahan the biggest problem? Do these guys care about winning? Did they build it the right way? Did he build it the wrong way? Shouldn't they be like the Vegas Golden Knights, who are an expansion team that got all the draft picks in the world because the leagues basically set it up for them in a perfect way? That's the part of it where I go, damn. It's okay from a media standpoint. It sure gives us a lot of content, but that's the part where if I was just a normal fan, I would find that to be exhausting. That's where I would get mad at media. Like, if I wasn't a part of this, I'd be like, why are you always talking about this stuff? Because that's where I would see it from. And all we're doing is reacting to what the actual market has created, right?
100%.
These are the conversations people are having. We're not usually inventing these things.
But and the narrative has changed. Like, I think, like, when Marner signed for 10-9, that was a weird moment.
Yeah,
that was a really strange
I got
moment.
killed for saying it was a horrible contract.
But again, we live in a place where it's like, he's amazing.
I got put on Katie Nolan's show.
Oh, yeah?
Because I said he should have taken a hometown discount, and they made fun of me being like, hey, what the hell is hometown discounts? Like, these are the guys in Toronto, they want to take less money.
Hometown discounts do exist, but whatever.
I know, but
I'm not going to rip anyone for not taking it, but I guarantee you others have.
Yeah.
I guarantee that. I just feel like, but now it's different for me because, like, I see the Nylander. I didn't like the Nylander contract either.
Oh, yeah, how could you?
How could you? Well, some people could. He's staying. Yay. Okay,
no,
great.
but the only people
Enjoy
that really
it.
like that contract is like their identity is built around that player.
Which I'll never understand.
Yeah.
I'll never quite understand that.
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Another
only,
way, love
only starting at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
They identify.
Yeah, Harmon's not ready.
He's
Give
not-
him 8 more minutes.
Then he'll really
He's going to be
identify with
on fire in 8
Yes,
minutes.
yes.
Dude, you should see this guy when the show ends every day. He's like, boo, he's popping.
But now my thought process on the Leafs, because I was on the same wavelength for 8 years or whatever it's been. Now I'm looking at the system they got, in terms of the farm system, assets, picks. The more I look at that Nylander deal, the more I'm like, you're screwed if you don't sign him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who's coming up?
But this is the issue, is that you keep trading pieces to bolster this group that hasn't worked.
Well,
which gives them even more
that
leverage.
needs to end.
That's what I'm saying.
Yesterday.
But everybody said it needed to end. And then this is what I'm saying. Nylander has a brilliant start in a contract year. And immediately everyone's just like, you have to give him a big bag of money because you've completely handed over the franchise.
I don't want to be that guy. I'm terrified by the stretch after the contract. Terrified.
Yeah,
but again, it doesn't change the fact the Leafs farm system is a complete joke.
But I just think they're really
But
tough every layer of the organization right now.
Yeah. Like I don't like you can't do Ryan Reeves. That
No.
can't happen. You can't Klingberg can't come in at not the cheapest money and do nothing for you. Like the misses are now becoming like me in a major league batter's box kind of misses. That you're going to pay for. So I just this is going to be an interesting one because like if they do I look at those standings every day like you. It's tight. It is really tight, and it's January, and I don't know if they're holding off on changes before the All-Star weekend so they don't subject everyone to the media. I don't know what is going on right now because it's felt like some kind of shake, whether it's the roster or something else, has been needed for weeks.
Yeah.
Weeks. And I understand the All-Star game being a point of reference because everyone's going to be available, and you don't want to subject Austin to something that he's not involved in. But it feels like something is needed. Now, I don't think it's trading assets. I wouldn't trust this group with that. But whether it's a move, whether it's sitting someone in the core four, one specific guy I'm thinking about who might need to take a seat, who would have at any other market by now, something like that is needed. Because the tune-out factor at times, like they're not ready to start games, man. How are you not ready to start the game Saturday night? 1.8 million people watched it. How are you not ready for that game? How are you not ready for Calgary off the Edmonton result? How are you not ready? Is that coaching? Is that the guys? I don't know. Might be a little of both. I hate being on that fence. But something's needed here. And I don't think we're going to see it before the All-Star break because it's a big deal, obviously, but
Here's
we'll
the
see
thing.
where it goes.
You know what it is? It actually feels a little bit like with my parents. They were like, we'll get divorced after all the kids graduate from high school. And they didn't make it. But that's how
They
the
tried.
All-Star break. That's the All-Star break. It's like, hey, let's not have any divorce before this. We got to go. We're up against it.
Appreciate you, man.
Wish you had more time. But yeah, Sid, we got to do this again soon. Thanks for doing this.
Anytime.
Subscribe and review. We'll see you tomorrow.